Hey, Steve.
Hey, Arnold, how's it going?
It's great. It's great. So we are back, man.
We are back for episode number 2. Episode 1 was released on June 17th, and I think we had a lot of great comments on that episode. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. I mean, I was really amazed by the nice editing work you did,
Oh, well, thank you.
and it was pleasant to watch, even if we knew a little bit what was inside the episode 1. But yeah, we're back, and it's a great pleasure to carry on with the project.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm super excited to be here today with all of you. Thanks again for viewing the first episode and for all the nice comments and for sharing our Facebook page, our Instagram, our Twitter, and sharing our YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much. I hope you will enjoy our second episode, which we are going to describe in just a few seconds.
Yeah. So. A lot of things to discuss on episode 2.
Yep.
A large Q&A about ROCKIN ENGINE.
Yes. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about ROCKIN ENGINE, but we're also going to talk about how to really properly start a band and to make sure that you become successful as a band. So the do's and the don'ts that come with it, and how you guys can make a few changes just to make things better inside the band. So I'm going to talk about that too while I talk about ROCKIN ENGINE, because I'm going to share all my experiences with the band as well. So I'm going to tell you my stories, how it went, how it could have went.
And we want to learn more about ROCKIN ENGINE as well.
Yeah, I mean,
So
we all have skeletons in our closet, right?
Yes.
So we're going to talk about all of that, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and after that we'll have a new subject. It's called the Vinyl Revisited. So I'm gonna speak about one album that I dug from my vault. It's a vintage copy of an old heavy metal success of the 80s.
Hence vintage, old.
Yeah. and also at the end we'll have a featuring band.
Yes, just like last episode, actually, we had As We Suffer, and for this episode, we're going to feature Lycantro from Ottawa, Canada.
Yeah, so that's it. All right, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, so Steve, I wanted to know a little bit more about your band, ROCKIN ENGINE, and like you said, I mean, it's a good way to give extra information about what to do and what to not do when you want to start a new band. So I'm sure a lot of new musicians or starting bands can learn from your experience. In ROCKIN ENGINE, and also from my experience, in the few bands that I have played with. So to start with, when did you realize that you wanted to be a musician?
Oh, wow. Well, that started when I was really, really young. I mean, even when I was playing with toy pianos and stuff like that, I was just trying to learn songs that I heard on the radio. So it really started at a young age. And
so as a child,
as a child,
I were playing with musical instruments, and
I mean,
it was a game for you.
The real game changer was actually my brother, who lives in Quebec City. He's a little older than I am, and when I was like 10 years old, he was already into the bar scene. He was like 15, 16, and he was already playing in bars, and he was really, really good. I mean, he was in bands, covering Van Halen, Metallica, and stuff like that, Megadeth. So, I mean, he was right there, even at 15, 16 years old. He was like super crazy to look at. I mean, he was amazing. And
he was playing guitar?
Yeah, he was a guitarist.
Okay.
And he had the long hair, and he was cool as shit. And, so when I went to visit, my family, that's pretty much the only time I could see him, because my parents were separated and all that shit. So when I had the opportunity to see him, he was always practicing. That's why he was good, obviously. So at some point, I asked him, can you show me how to play? And he was like, oh man. So I was like, okay, well, just show me like something really easy. And like I think in 10 to 15 minutes, I was playing that song, and he was like, holy shit, you're learning pretty quickly. So afterwards, like maybe a few weeks after, my mother got me my first guitar, and that's when everything started. So
at what age was that?
I think it was like 11 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my first acoustic guitar, and I was already playing with the tunings. I was trying to play a lot of songs, not just acoustic songs. I was trying to cover like Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that with my acoustic guitar. So yeah, so I really built some muscles in these fingers, trying to play Hendrix on an acoustic. But so yeah, after a while, maybe a year after that, I got my first electric guitar, and that's when the drugs started. No, I'm just kidding.
The infection, the virus.
Yeah, but no, I mean, that's when it all started for me. And afterwards, I started playing in small bands, basement bands.
Like high school bands?
Yeah, stuff like that. And I had music classes at school too, so I learned a lot there. And one funny thing about that, about my music classes in high school, I was playing so much, at each night. My friends were out, pranking and stuff like that. But instead, I wanted to play guitar at home. So I was a pretty fun guy, but
you were hooked to it.
Oh, definitely. So I played like 5 hours a day, literally 5 hours a day, and that's why I became, better at it, because I was always playing. Always. I mean, all the time.
And this was from, 12?
Yeah, I mean...
12, 13?
12 to 13, 14 years old, I was, like, always playing guitar, even at 15 years old. So I was, like, playing, 5 hours, at least 5 hours a day for, like, 4 to 5 years. And so the funny thing about that is when I started, my music classes in high school, my teacher was like, okay, well, we're going to play this. We're going to play an Eric Clapton song, Tears in Heaven. So, okay. So everybody got, the basic chords to play, and it was pretty easy. So at some point, I was like tired of always playing the same chords and stuff like that. So I started, jamming the melody. And my teacher came up to me and he said, well, do you think you can play the lead on that song? So I was, well, maybe. I could learn it. And I think it took like 30 minutes, and I was playing the lead guitar on that song. So he was like, "Okay, well, you're gonna play the lead guitar on a high school show at the end of the year." So I was like, "Holy shit! Okay, I'm gonna do a show." So so that's when it started. And but after a while, I was just tired of always playing the same stuff, and my teacher was getting tired of me because I was like influencing the other kids to play other stuff than what he was teaching. So he always took away my guitar.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, if you're already into listening to hard rock and metal, this was out of the curriculum. I
guess. I mean, I was always fooling around with Black Sabbath songs and, Deep Purple and stuff like that, the stuff I was into at that time. And so that's why it was always bothering the teacher, because, it wasn't what he was teaching, and it wasn't good for him. So yeah. So
and he didn't like distortion sound.
No, especially not with a classical guitar.
It doesn't sound that great.
No. So yeah, that was a funny story with that. And so yeah, I mean, when I started, in my first basement band, I remember we were just a bunch of kids, just wanted to play music and have some fun, and just sometimes play a show in high school. And so the first band I started with, I really don't remember the name, but who cares? I just joined the guys. They wanted me to learn a freaking Smashing Pumpkin song. And so I learned it, but, I wasn't super good at the time. That was when I was really young. And I never really played with a band. So playing alone is one thing, you know, in your basement, but when you have to play with a band, there's a lot of things to take in consideration. And I didn't have that experience, and it was pretty funny at first because they all looked at me as, oh, no, we can't keep him, guys. We can't keep this guy.
Okay, so they throw you out?
Oh, they kicked me out the first day.
Wow.
So, yeah. And so I think that's what motivated me to work harder, you know. I had never had a teacher. I never had, like, a family member, you know, who was always there, you know, to show me this stuff, or friends, close friends. So nobody was there. I always, I taught myself everything.
Yeah.
And
so did I.
The lucky ones, you know, who are fortunate enough to have, you know, teachers and, you know, music classes and learn all the theory behind the music, all the scales and stuff like that. You have a pretty big advantage when you start playing, because you know what the fuck you're doing. You understand what you're doing. But when you don't have that, you know, all the theory behind it, you play it by ear, but you don't necessarily know what you're doing.
Yeah, but you're still learning.
Yeah.
You're still learning your craft, and you can still develop your identity. So it's not so much of a bad thing.
No.
In my opinion, anyway. I think.
No, I completely agree with that. And I mean, a lot of great artists don't really know the names, the name of their scales or stuff like that. You know, they don't really care about it. You know, it just sounds good. Yeah. And if your ear is well developed, you don't really need to understand all the theory behind it. The advantage you will have is you can compose music without even hearing it. Yeah. That's pretty much the advantage that you have.
And the fact that we're playing into the rock field, you know, the rock music, we don't really need so much of the theory that you need in classical music. And I mean, you know, basically what you listen, you have a drummer, the drummer keeps the time, and everybody plays to it, and that's it. You know, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, unless, you know, when you get older and you want to, you know, think outside the box, and then you start, you know, incorporating different stuff, then it's good to have, you know,
signatures.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to have this theory, you know, to understand the theory. And I actually took music classes a few years ago with a guitarist that some of you, I'm certain you know, is Pascal Paquot-Jobin from The Agonist. I took classes at his place. He took me in. I mean, he was super cool. He was super friendly, super patient.
So what did you learn from him?
I mean, the main reason why I approached him was I was so fascinated to see him play at one of his shows, The Agonist at Mavericks in Ottawa. And I just went up to him and talked to him. You know, I was like, damn, I wish I could play like you. And he told me, well, I give classes if you're ever interested. Do you live in the area? I mean, yeah, I live in Gatineau. So we kind of live nearby. So he's like, well, yeah, we could set it up, you know, and we could...
He doesn't live in Montreal?
No,
the band is from there.
Well,
The Agonist.
I think there are 3 members that live in Montreal. The singer lives in Buffalo, I think, or Chicago. I think it's Chicago. Vicky. And the lead guitarist Paco lives here in Hull. Yeah. In Gatineau, Ottawa region. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I took classes with him a few years ago, and I just wanted him to show me, you know, ways that I could learn all the scales and just, you know, memorize them. Because the problem that I was having is at that time I had a cover band, and we're gonna talk about it pretty soon. Rockin' Engine was a cover band at that time. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, when you're all into it and you're playing the solos and stuff like that, you know, the solos were written by other guitarists, and most of the lead guitarists usually play within the scales that they know. And but when you're a cover band and you're trying to play different musical styles in guitar, you don't always play the same scales, and sometimes it gets frustrating, because if you lose your timing or you lose a few notes during the solo, then you don't know where the fuck to start.
And
you're
to stop.
or to stop. So that was my problem, and I just didn't want to get confused on stage while I was doing a solo and look like a freaking idiot. So that was mainly the reason. But I really wanted to learn more in order to write, because at that moment we started to talk about writing music, and I just wanted to know what I was writing and how to write it. And he really, really, really helped me out with that. And he also took our other guitarist, the other Steve, into his class as well. So yeah, I mean, it was really, really.
So it was a good improvement for both of you to
absolutely
get that coaching from Paco.
Yep, absolutely. And the best thing I learned from all his classes were less is more.
Well, that's my motto. That's funny because it's what I say all the time. Less is more. And when I started writing music, sometimes you get overwhelmed. You're trying to, just write these riffs, and they're never-ending notes. It's always like a super fast riffs and stuff like that, because you want things to be super heavy, super fast, and super this and that. But when you listen to it, it's fucking garbage. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you always need to have that feeling element.
Exactly. And that's when I really understood what he meant. So yeah, thank you, Paco, for that. I still use your valuable advice today.
I've seen him play in Eigger, because I think he played a couple of solos on their second album.
Exactly.
And he was invited when they played their show downtown, and he was like playing maybe 2 solos live, and he can shred.
Oh yeah,
sure. He's amazing.
He's a really good guitar player and super down to earth guy. If you have the chance to meet him live, I suggest you go have a chat with him and a beer. He's a super cool guy, and I love you. All right.
Yeah. So back to the band. So when did you realize, or did you decide that you wanted to have your own band? What age?
So, okay, well, this started after, this the first band I went with. I tried.
Kicked you out?
Yes. Yeah, they kicked me out. Maybe 3 years after that, I did another tryout. The guys were still ongoing, and they were doing some shows and stuff like that. And so I was tired of playing my basement.
So you wanted your revenge then?
Kind of. And I went up to them, and you guys are still looking for a guitarist? And they were like,
You suck. No, not you again.
Suck, dude. So I was like, well, I mean, maybe just for a jam or something like that. I just want to have some fun, right? And I was say, okay, well, they took me in. And after that jam, they wanted to kick the singer out. Because the singer was kind of like the lead guitarist at the time, and that's exactly what happened. The other guys heard what I could do now, and they wanted to go on that venue. They wanted to go in that direction. So I was more into metal than grunge music, which was the genre that they were playing.
Okay.
And so since I was more of a metal-influenced guitarist, I learned a lot of solos. I learned a lot of stuff. And so the guys were pretty mind-blown, and they were like, holy shit, man, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to play. And the singer was so pissed off, he kicked me out again. So, so I was like, okay, well, I'm destined to play alone, I guess. So afterwards, I was so
another big deception, or?
Yeah, well, it was a deception for me because I wanted to play with a band, but now, I didn't really know anyone who wanted me. I was alone in the world. But but no. But seriously, afterwards I was like, okay, well, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work, and it's fine. I mean, I didn't want to force things. I mean, it doesn't work out. It's fine. I'll just find something else.
Yeah.
And one of my really, really good friends, he wanted to learn drums. So, but he didn't know how to play drums. So I bought the drums from the band that kicked me out because they weren't playing any shows anymore because shit hit the fan in the band.
They disbanded.
Yeah, they disbanded after me. So I was like, fuck, man, I feel bad, but can I buy your drum set?
Yes.
That's exactly what happened.
Good business,
Yeah,
man.
good business. And he sold it cheap too, so it was all right. So so I bought the drum.
So what age were you?
I was like,
how old were you at that time?
I think I was 16 years old.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
at that
that's
time.
pretty young.
Yeah, so I was 16, and so I actually learned to play drums to show my friend how to play drums. And so yeah, I mean, that's how it started. But it was so hard to find musicians. It's really hard to find musicians at that age because you can't play into bars, you can't play into certain venues, and people don't really know you. So the only musicians you can have are pretty much the people you know at school, or the surrounding friends or family members and stuff like that. And I didn't have anyone in my surrounding, that I was playing music.
But your brother.
My brother, but he lived like 5 hours away from me, so it wasn't
In Quebec City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But it runs in the family because your son is playing too, right? So
yeah, my son now plays, and yeah, so yeah,
it's
I mean,
funny. I mean, your brother is still playing guitar?
he plays guitar when he has the time. He would love to stay near me to play with the bands, with my band from time to time, because he really enjoys what we do, and he actually came to see us live a few times, and he was like, "Man, you guys just give me the need to play again."
Yeah.
Because we have that energy, and that's what he was missing. That's why he stopped playing with bands in Quebec where he lived, and
Because it's a good place for metal. I heard that Quebec City is really metal.
It's the metal city.
Yeah,
for real. I mean, it's crazy. I went to see the Agonist another time at L'Antibar in Quebec City, and I have to say I was floored. I was blown away by how hot it was in that freaking bar, man. But the people were insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, think about the craziest show you witnessed here in Ottawa Gatineau, and
Multiply
by 10 maybe.
Really?
I mean, it was freaking crazy. I mean, even the photographer got freaking smashed on stage. He was literally thrown on stage. Camera everywhere and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, man, what's going on? That was crazy. But it was so fun. The energy is just completely different over there. And so yeah, I hope we can soon be able to play in Quebec, because I have a lot of family on that corner of my native land. And so yeah, I wish I could play there very soon. So yeah, I mean, afterwards, just to get back on the subject.
the first band.
Yeah, so the first band, we were really just me and the drummer, and from time to time we had a musician, and it never really went anywhere. Okay. So all in all, my real first band was Rockin' Engine. And because we played, I played in another band with our guitarist that we have right now, Steve. That's how, we met together at jiu-jitsu classes. And I heard him in the locker room talking about, he was going to make he was going to do a show with his band. So I was like, oh, really? You play music? All right. So what do you play? I play guitar. Hey, me too, man. So
I'm not alone anymore.
What's your name? Steve. Hey, me too, man. How cool is that? So yeah. So
how long was it between that first that first
almost 20
attempt?
years.
20 years.
Almost 20 years.
That must have been long, man.
I mean, I've been a basement player for pretty much the whole part of my musical life. And I mean, I played a lot of music.
So you were an early bloomer as a learner.
Yeah.
But you were a late bloomer as a band player.
Exactly. But I've watched.
Incredible.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of bands, get together, get disbanded, get together again, and
Must
never
have been
worked
really
out.
frustrating for you.
Yes, really. But the thing is, I was always into music because I love music.
Yeah.
I was never in it to become a star, to become a huge, a huge artist in general or whatever. And so it was okay for me. I just wanted to enjoy playing guitar. And when we had like parties and stuff like that, I just took out the guitar and started slamming a few solos and have fun with it. And people were like, yeah, that's cool, man. All right.
But you see, be patient and you get rewarded.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you learn a lot.
It's a good example. I mean, you've been patient for 20 years.
Shit, that's patience.
You never lost your envy, and you still wanted to have a band, and now you have a good band, good friends you can play with.
And I think that...
So between that time, you never had an opportunity to meet people to start something, but it never worked, or it was just like nothing?
I had a lot of people, that we talked about it. We should start a band and stuff like that. But, in the 20s, people are really, building their lives, and people are always, going in different ways. And that's pretty much what happened. I think just life happened. So that's why, all the people that were interested in in being in a band with me at that time, we just got separated by life, in general. And it's not because we didn't want to, but it just happened. And so, yeah, I mean... At some point, when I met up with Steve, the other guitarist, he invited me for a jam session, with his band. So I was like, kind of nervous because I've been playing at that time. I've been playing for almost 25 years, and I was like, shit, am I going to look like an idiot? I mean, I've been playing for 25 years in my basement, but am I good enough? Am I? You always question yourself because you haven't proven yourself. And so...
Yeah, that's very different because, I mean, for me, I didn't play music as early as you did, but, it was like starting playing live when I was around 18, with my first band. When I was 20, we were like having shows, like regular shows. So it's something you build up and it becomes kind of natural that you expect that once you're in a band you want to play live shows, right?
Yep.
So and after that I can imagine, I mean, your frustration as as a musician that wanted to have a band must have been like crazy.
I mean, I think there was like how can I say it? I mean, I was just so nervous because I didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And so I went to the jam, and...
so it was a full band with Steve?
Yeah, so okay. he had... so Steve was playing guitar, he had a drummer, they had a bassist, and they had a singer. And at that time... the singer wasn't there yet. They had another singer who was playing... he was also playing rhythm guitars. So at that moment, I didn't know that they were kind of going into different directions with the singer. So that was kind of the reason why I went, to the jam, because they wanted to try me out. And but I didn't know it at the time, and I didn't want to create any, like stories within the band afterwards. When I knew what was going on.
Yeah, because you were notorious for like joining band that split straight away after.
Yeah, I jinx all bands, man. What the fuck? So, but no, I mean, I think it was just the circumstances, that made this happen, and
so it worked out. You just got in.
I got in.
Did the first jam, and
they had to talk with the other guy, because they were going into different directions, and the other guy, he was kind of pissed, but not that much, because he kind of knew that it was going to happen, eventually. And so, yeah, I mean, we just started. We got another singer that was already interested before I was in the band. And so, yeah, we started, jamming a lot. And at that point, we didn't do a lot of shows. We just, played for friends, stuff like that. And at some point, we wanted to perform. We wanted to do a show. So the drummer had a cottage, really far away. And so my first real live show was actually, right in the woods.
Like a private party.
Yeah, right in the woods with generators and stuff like that. So it was really, really private. We just had a few people over there, with bonfires and stuff like that. It was really cool, actually. It was as soon as everything was set up, because it was a bitch to set up. But as soon as everything was set up, it was really cool. It was one hell of a party, and we had a lot of fun that night. And actually, my wife, when she looked at me play, she told me, "You really want to do this.
I've
seen
so many years, after 20 years of waiting,
all that repressed sexual energy,
Yes.
coming out in one show. I mean, no, but seriously, I mean, she looked at me and she knew that, okay, this is definitely not the last time he's going to perform live. And she was right. I mean,
So just before going, like, it wasn't like a stage for real, but did you have stage fright, and where you're like really?
I don't think so. I mean,
impressed?
no. I mean, I was so excited to play that it wasn't. It was never. I never had like stage fright in my life.
Okay.
I was never shy to talk in front of people. I'm a teacher today, so I mean, it's in me. It's
Yeah.
in my genes. I mean, I don't mind talking to people or a crowd or whatever. But I mean, I've always been into music because I love it, because I want to have fun. So for me, it was just fun time. A really fun time, and it was fantastic. I mean, it was the greatest feeling in the world, and I wanted it to happen again.
Yes, of course.
And for whatever reason, at that time, me and Steve, the other guitarist, we wanted to continue playing, covers, because we enjoyed playing covers. And so the drummer and the singer, who was a female singer, well, they hooked up. So eventually, you know what happened? Well, they kind of went on their direction, and so me and Steve, we went in the other direction. And so yeah, I mean, it was kind of awkward at first because we were all friends, but things happen. And but yeah, I mean, it's all part of it. I mean, one thing I wanted to say in this episode is that building a band is like building a relationship. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And even throughout the years, people change.
Yeah.
I mean, people change their mind. People change, in general. So
You need a lot of, skills in psychology to run a band.
Yeah.
You need to work hard to learn how to deal with people.
yeah, especially with some people in particular, but I will not say names. But yeah, but
Yeah.
no. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's hard to build a solid band, and like you said, in the last episode, it's really important to build a solid foundation before moving forward. And I think the chemistry within the band is the most important thing, to be successful. And it takes time. It takes patience to build that chemistry, because you need to do some shows. You need to write together. You need to share together, not share your girlfriends, but I mean share ideas.
To me, it's definitely a different way to approach. It's a new family. It's a new family relationship that you're building. It's like your bandmates are your brothers. You spend a lot of time with those people, so you need to bond with them, and you need to have something in common, and
most
and
definitely
a great understanding and enjoying what you have to do together.
Yep, that's true. And I think when we started Rockin' Engine as a cover band, I think everything was just like pieces of puzzle, and as the longer we went, the puzzle was building up. It was all taking place, and it started with me and Steve. We just finally got towards the idea that we had, towards the vision that we had, regarding the band, and we wanted to write eventually, but we were just not there yet. And the way we saw it at the time is that we wanted to play a few cover shows to get the experience, to have the experience, playing live, having people in front of you, fucking up on stage. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to learn that stuff before writing our own music and presenting our own material. So we kind of wanted to experience that, to have that feeling, that a certain confidence that you need when you perform. And so that's the vision that we had, and that's why the band that we had at that moment got disbanded. And afterwards, we met. Actually, I met Joel, our drummer, a year before that, and I knew he played drums in another band, and but it was pretty slow at that time, so I just gave him a call, and I was, look, man, we're playing a few songs, we're just jamming in the basement. Would you like to come and join us just for a jam? And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? Took a few beers. He brought his drum, and we just jammed along some metal songs. And he was more of a classic rock kind of guy at that time. And when he started playing, metal songs with us, he was like, "Man, I really like that energy.
It's different.
Yeah, it's completely different, and I love it." And he started to notice that he's an excellent drummer, Joel. But there's a huge difference between a classic rock drummer and a metal drummer.
Yes,
the techniques are completely different, and so he really got interested into learning more. And the more he learned, the more he was interested, in playing. So at some point, we just asked him, are you in the band or are you not in the band? We don't know yet. He said, yeah, I think I am. So, yeah, I was like, all right, we have a drummer. So, and after that, we just, we needed a singer and a bassist. And so at some point, it was a huge hassle to find a bassist. I don't know why. I mean, the bassist is, as much as we love to laugh about bassists, I think they're the most important part of a band. And anyone who doesn't think that this is true, well, you don't know how to mix music. I'm sorry. The bass is absolutely important, and it's...
Well, in metal, it's true that the guitar has such a big importance that the bass is always downplayed.
Yeah.
But it really needs it's one of the component that has to be
it brings life to the song. And if you don't have the bass, I mean your song is pretty much soulless. I mean there's no I don't know, man. It's you need bass pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean
it's the same thing as fat with meat, right?
Yeah.
I mean it's not really enjoyable to have like lean meat doesn't taste anything. So, it's the same thing. Metal without bass, then that's why the guitar is so chugging and so heavy.
Yeah.
And so, bottomless.
For a moment, I thought you were describing me, fat with meat.
But you're right. I mean, we joked about it on the last episode because you were saying, well, the stories with bass players, like I said, I mean, it's never ending for sure.
I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why they are so hard to find. And I mean, guitarists can play bass, but it's just not the same. I mean, really good bassists, they have special techniques, and when you come along with a great bassist, you just know it. I mean, wow, you just...
Well, it's probably because they have to rely so much on the drums, and they have to listen to the drums. Like, guitar players basically only listen to themselves, right? So they don't really... They listen to the drums, but, they basically, most of the time they write the song, so they bring the riffs and the drums just go with it, right? But the bassists have to just link the guitar riffs to the drums, right? So they really have to listen to the whole dynamic of the band and the song, right? So
and right there, I mean, chemistry is very important.
Yeah.
But I'll get back to that. And I mean, so we didn't have a bassist and we didn't have a singer, so that's when I decided to learn how to sing.
Another learning skills.
Another learning experience, and it was hard. I mean, it was really hard. I never sang while playing guitar before I started that band, and it was a long process. It was hard. It's still a learning experience. I mean, I'm still kind of writing my music in a way that makes me able to sing, while I play guitar. Yeah. So I will never claim that I'm absolutely fluent in singing and playing guitar at the same time. I mean, James Hetfield can do it. I mean, Dave Mustaine can do it. A lot of metal players can do it, but it's really hard to learn and to control.
Yeah.
So I think I'm still learning, and I mean, it's all part of playing music. It's all about learning, and so that's when I started to, sing while playing guitar.
It's because you have to be multitasking.
Yeah.
You have to have one rhythm for your vocals and one rhythm for your guitar, and be able to like make the two work together, even if they are not on the same page,
Yeah.
right? Because it takes a lot of work. I mean, for me, the same thing. I mean, in my first band, we were looking for a singer. We never got one. So I said, well, if we want to play, at one point we'll have to sing something. So I'll just go for it.
Exactly.
I was the only one that was like, yeah, do it. So I was like, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the more you do it, the better you get, fluent with it. But it's never ending. It's always a complete practice. The more you can play and the more you can sing, the better you get. But it's never ending, for sure.
No, it's a really long process, and I mean, it's always a learning experience. And I had a lot of help with that, with vocal coaches and a lot of friends, a lot of singers that I know that helped me out. I mean, and all the experiences that these vocalists shared with me. I mean, it's all part of the learning process, and I think I learned a lot. In the past 2 years alone, I've developed as a musician more than the past 20 years, and it's all because I moved forward, to learn more.
Yeah, and it's because you do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Since you have to do it, you learn it as you do it.
Exactly, because I want to be better. I want to better myself as a musician. And I think it's part of, wanting more, wanting the best, And I don't want to be the best. I just want to be the best of me. And so yeah, I mean, I think it's important to get the information, the techniques, to the any class that you can, find, any video on YouTube that you can find, and practice it and continue practicing all the time as much as you can. That's the only way you can become a better artist. And not only at guitar, not only at singing, but performing as well. I mean, just performing is another form of art. You can be a super phenomenal musician, but if you don't move, you're like a freaking candle on stage. It's not entertaining.
No.
And so performing live is another art. It's something to learn too. And the only way you can do that is by performing.
Yeah.
So I think, in the past 2 years, I learned so much. And that's kind of the reason why I wanted to share my experience, because I think a lot of bands, that have been together for several years, or a lot of starting bands, they need to know that stuff. They need to learn that stuff. Yeah. And sometimes, even though you've been in a band for several years, you can be stuck somewhere and you don't know why. And that's sometimes, the reason why you're blocked is because you're not looking for the reason.
Yeah. And again, I mean, stage presence. I mean, you can just, like you and me, we're singers, so that you won't have the same possibility to move on stage because, well, you're behind your mic and you have to sing, right? Yeah. But still, I mean, you can still work and develop some stage presence, even if you're bound to be behind the mic. This is something that you can always look at and learn. But I had another question about, like you said, 2 years, since the last 2 years. So from like your first live show, from when you played and now, what is your progression? What do you think you have improved in your performance? Because, me, for example, I was always like, well, that's something I want to do. This was like the first show that I played. It was like a dream come true. Yeah. It was something that I wanted so much. And every time I was like watching a live band playing, I want to do this. I want to be on stage. So once I was able to do it, it was like, yeah, this is. So I think I was so prepared to just give the show that it's been something natural. I'm living it. I'm not pushing myself to just, put on a show. This is something I'm living every minute of it. So for me, I don't think I really had to work and develop, but I agree. I mean, you can always it's good because now you can record your videos, your shows, and you can watch them and you can say, well, yeah, this was a good way to do it, but I could improve this. At the time, back when I played, I mean, nobody had a camcorder or even a phone. So
Yeah.
It was not that easy, but so just tell me, from when you started your first live show and now, what do you think you improved?
I learned to breathe.
Okay.
Yep. And see, it seems funny, just saying it that way, but when I started,
you didn't know how to breathe before.
No, not as a musician. Okay, really. I mean, I'm serious here. When you sing and you're kind of into the moment and you're trying to give all you got. You're just belting your voice and you're pushing yourself. At some point, your diaphragm gets absolutely exhausted, and you just run out of air. And so that's kind of the reason why I needed to learn more about singing, because I needed to control my vocals, and I didn't know how to do that. So my first shows were really tough because we played huge shows. Like we played for 2 and sometimes 3 hour shows. And, when the show ended, I mean, I had absolutely no voice. I had no power in my voice. I wasn't able I was practically unable to talk after shows. Mm-hmm. And it's something I learned throughout, my experiences with, performing. And the thing is, when you perform, you always tend to play a little faster. You always tend to, breathe more, rapidly. And so you get tired really quickly. And I think that in the past 2 years, I really learned how to control that. And that's really important because you don't want to gas out, in the middle of a show, not being able to perform, the songs that you want, the way you want it. Especially when people start to know your songs and they expect a certain performance and you can't deliver it, that sucks. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen international artists, gas out in a show, and it's really annoying. I mean, you pay for your ticket and you're expecting a great show, and you're not getting your money's worth. And I learned to control my breathing. And that changed so many things, overall in my performance, because I was now able to relax while I was, chugging the hell out of my guitar and screaming and belting and all that stuff. But I was able to breathe. Mm-hmm. And that changed. That was a game changer, really. So, I think the thing I learned the most was that.
So did you have, exercises to work this out? Or
absolutely.
This was just like a revelation?
No. I mean, I started to...
from your vocal coaching?
Yeah, I got a few online vocal classes. And I actually started with Melissa Cross, which a lot of people know in the metal community. And she's great. I mean, she's really good. She's a good teacher. She shows you the good stuff, but there are certain details that were missing. At least I thought that I needed to learn before doing her courses, because I think to really appreciate what she shows, you need to understand a few things. And so I took other classes, online classes with it was a R&B singer. So he's a completely different style. Mm-hmm. But I learned, my tonal range. I learned, my low pitch, my high pitch, my harmonies, my stuff like that. And this is the stuff that I needed to learn. Yeah. And it not only helped me out on stage, but it helped me out, for recording. And so I had these exercises I did several times a week. Not every day, because I wanted to, take a break, from once in a while. But it really helped me understand, how the vocal cords, the vocal folds are working. And, it's like training your muscles. It's the same thing. You have to work it out. And you have to, to stretch, before each performance. And you have to do like warm-ups and stuff like that. Yeah. And a lot of people don't do it. They don't. They drink a couple of beers, they dry themselves out, and they go on stage. They belt it out, and they're not able to talk for 3 days afterwards. So that's not what I want to do. If I'm to play like several shows in a row, I want to do several shows, with the same power, the same range, the same energy.
Knowing you can deliver, you can do it.
Exactly. So that's why I started taking these classes, and it really, really helped. So if some singers out there, you're struggling with, your performance, you're gassing out, you're trying to figure out a way, how is this happening? Why do you have trouble breathing while you're performing? Well, this is, the best advice I could give you. I mean, start, vocal classes, get a good vocal coach that could, really tell you what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. I mean, you're obviously doing something right. But yeah, I mean, it helps a lot, and it helps to focus on the things that you need to work on, and to not strain your voice. Yep.
Yeah, and like you said, you mentioned that, and I think it's good to just stress this: master your tempos.
Yeah.
Because you always think that we're gonna play faster, it's gonna sound better.
No.
But it doesn't sound better.
No.
You just have that feeling that we'll play faster, we're much better band, but then it's just gonna affect your vocals, because you will have less time to breathe because the song is faster, and then it's gonna tire your vocals. So it's something that a band needs to work on, is to control, master the pace they're playing, and
Absolutely.
make sure that when they play in jams, they will play the same way. Maybe just a little tad faster, because you got that excitement effect, but still, I mean, you can have like 1 p.m. faster, but don't go like 10 p.m.
No, I mean, I mean, you need to pace yourself, and I mean, it's for everyone. I mean, there are certain lines, whether it's guitar, bass, or drums, that you write even with a slow tempo, that are really, really quick. Mm-hmm. So if you're playing like a fast pace, like you're playing like 160 BPM, and you're going crazy, and then there's this part in the song where it's just a lot of you're playing 16th and 32 notes. It's just not going to work.
You're just going to fuck it up,
Yeah, and it's going to sound like shit. So, and there are times that you just need to let the notes breathe. And you need to let your vocal breathe, and people will notice that. Yeah. You think it's cool, you think it sounds great, but it doesn't. And one way to learn that is when actually people are filming your performance, mm-hmm. and they send they send you the video, or they post it on Facebook, and they're like, "Oh, that was so cool, man! That was a great show." And you listen to it, and you're like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah.
Did it sound like that? Oh man, that's garbage, and
it's just the excitement effect, that it's like an adrenaline push. You feel it's great, but then it's not true. It doesn't work. It's the same thing as if you're drinking too much, you always think, I can handle 10 beers, and I'm gonna be flying my solos, but no, you're gonna suck, man. That's all.
Oh no, no, that's actually a rule from with our band. I mean, you never get wasted before a show. So we limit ourselves, to one drink.
Yeah, one
maybe two. If it takes a while before we play, but a lot of water. Definitely a lot of water before the show. That's really important, especially for me, because since I sing, I don't want to have a dry throat. So even though it's not the water doesn't affect necessarily your vocal folds, but it will hydrate. Yeah, it's going to hydrate you. And on stage, it's really hot, and you sweat a lot, and you're gonna lose all your water. So if you're dehydrated right before going on stage, you drank a lot of beer and you had a couple of shots. You're feeling nice. You're feeling, you have this nice vibe going on, but you're going to choke out.
Yeah, it's not going to help you.
No, it's not going to help you at all.
And again, like when you're playing a second instrument, it's the same thing. I mean, it's like you're so much. You can be out of breath just because you're playing guitar, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes, you got to follow especially in metal, because you can have some fast tempos. So you got to be in that tempo, and then you have to sing. So basically, it takes a lot of brain to master the two. And definitely, I mean, I know that some of my songs, they are more difficult to sing, because I know that they are fast tempos, so you got a lot of lyrics to sing.
Yep.
And it's difficult, because that if it happens that you play too fast, then it's going to make it more difficult even there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
even more,
especially when you need to control your tempo and be on time. So if you're chugging like at 160 and your the bass drum is going at 150, so it's not going to work out. It's not going to sound good. So that's another thing. You need to hear yourself play, and you need to hear the others. So that's the reason why we started playing with in-ear monitoring systems, because in bars, I think this is the worst. It's just the worst, for musicians to have this huge sound in front for the front of the house, and on stage you have these monitors, but they're all feeding back into the microphones, and the sound is just it's not clear. It's just a rumble of sound, and so at some point we had trouble, hearing ourselves, because we play loud. We play loud music. And it's heavy metal. I mean, it's not pop music, So when the show starts, if you don't hear yourself in the 10 first seconds, you're pretty much fucked. So at some point you just need to tell the sound guy, you don't be shy about it. Don't go on in the show, just trying to endure it, because it's going to sound like ass all along. So you just tell the sound guy, can you just a little bit of this and that in this monitor, and a bit of this and that in that one. I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's important to say it.
Yeah, and most of the time, I'm pretty sure you had those bad experiences of, like the guy at the soundboard is like sleeping and not doing anything, and sometimes the monitors, they just don't work after 2 songs, and you have nothing on stage, right? So
I got one.
Another thing is that bands have to learn, like the hard way. They have to learn. Yeah. They have to make it. They have to know their song enough so that even if they have shitty sound on stage, they can still make them sound good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all part of being prepared, and I think the best way to give a great performance is to be well prepared. And so I mean, that's kind of the reason why we started to play with in-ear monitors even when we jam, because it's easier for us now to just make our own mix for ourselves. And the only thing we have to do when we go play live, we take out our mixer, we have a split snake, and we just tell, this is this, this is this, this is this, put in your console, that's the front of house. And that's it. He doesn't, the sound guy doesn't have to do nothing for us. Everything is done in our in-ears, everything is mixed. He has nothing to do at all. So since we did that, it changed a lot. We hear ourselves. Yeah. So if we suck, we are the reason for it. Yeah. It's not the sound guy.
And that's it's because you didn't play well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, or the bassist just got drunk, and but no, I mean, So I think it's important to.
And it's not allowed.
No, it's not allowed in our band. So not anymore, at least. But I mean, I think it's part of the learning process, and it's like I said earlier. I mean, to learn this stuff, you need to experience it, and you don't have you really have to you don't have to be afraid, of screwing up on stage. It's the best way to learn. I remember a time we were playing, and there was it was like maybe 150 people in front of us, and I was doing playing the guitar while I was singing, and one of my strings broke. So, but I knew that I had a solo coming in like in maybe 20 to 30 seconds. So I had another guitar on stage, but the sixth string was down-tuned. So I went to grab my guitar while singing, took the guitar, strapped it, tuned it properly, and I started right on the dot for the solo. And so the people are like, what is he doing? Why is he changing guitars while he's singing? Well, it's because my string broke,
so
man.
They didn't realize you
Nobody
broke that
realized
string.
that I broke the string. And actually, another musician that was in the crowd, he came to see me after the show, and he was like, dude, that move was so smooth. Nobody even noticed. But I saw your string, that broke, and you just went with it. Like nothing happened. You were super calm. You just took your other guitar, tuned it while you were singing, and let's do this, bitch. And that's it. And
so that's that you're prepared when you do that, right?
I think I was. And the funny thing is that the same thing happened to Steve, our other guitarist, in I think it was last year. Yeah, he was playing, and at some point he had to do a solo, and his string broke on stage, and the other guitar was far away. So I just take my guitar, that guitar, it's tuned right. So he took it. The strap wasn't, his fit, but didn't matter. He just took the guitar and started ripping his solo on that guitar, and that was working. And
cool.
And that's it. I mean, that's all part of it. It's staying calm, and assess the problem at the time, and just relax.
And like you said, I mean, despite the fact that even if you're prepared, you work your songs, your set list is I mean, you're always gonna have things that were never expected.
Something is bound to happen.
Yeah,
for sure.
We played in Ducuff in Ottawa, and most of the time I play with my Explorer, so no whammy bar and no blocking stuff, so easy to tune. And for that concert, I said, well, I just changed my strings on my Jackson, so I'm going to take that one. And I think I played 2 songs, and I broke my bottom E string.
Yeah.
So I had to, undo all the screwing. So we had to stop the show because I didn't bring another guitar. So we had to stop the show. It took me 5 minutes to change my string, put then tune again, and then start again. Because nobody had the same tuning as us, and so it was.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I always keep 2 guitars every show, because you never know when things like that happen.
Definitely.
And it's all part of the learning process and experience. So yeah. So now we're just, I think we have an amazing band. We're a complete band. We all know our part in the band. And I think it's another thing that's really important to understand. I think every band member should understand their role in the band. So I don't really believe in band leaders. I think that everyone has to, take care of what they have to. We're all good at something. And for example, in our case, I take care a lot of everything that's social media because I'm just, I kind of enjoy it, and I'm kind of good at it. And I learned a lot of tricks, throughout the years regarding social media. And it's easier for me, actually, with my work, to be to be able to post stuff and look what's happening, and just have a really accurate follow-up on everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't take care of the social media, well, you're gonna miss out on something. And Steve, our guitarist, well, he was basically, he was responsible for organizing a lot of shows that we did. All the merchandise, he was taking care of that for a long time. So he that's just part of his his tasks in the band. Yeah. I'm not even talking about writing here. I'm just talking about outside of the music thing. And and Joel, our drummer, he's like our Bob the Builder. You know, he builds everything. You know, he takes anything and builds everything with it. And so when we need something, he
need a bulldozer, he's building one.
Whatever you need, man, he's gonna do it. But when we shot our videos, I mean, this guy built everything, you know, that we had in our videos, and we saved a lot of money with that. And it really helped us, you know, to get, you know, the image, you know, the vision that we wanted to have on the video. And JP, he's our bassist. He's the social guy. You know, he knows everyone, and he's the kind of guy, you know, that he's gonna reach out to anyone that is gonna you know, have a certain importance, you know, to get us somewhere, you know, either to go into shows, to open for like high-level musicians and stuff like that. He got us to play in a lot of cool shows, and he knows a lot of people, so he's our live social guy. You know, everybody knows this guy.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, build on the strength of everyone.
Exactly.
And try to find which skills everyone has, so that you can develop on that one.
Yep.
And
that's the part
don't
of
force someone to do something he doesn't like. Right?
No, and that's exactly the thing. You know, that's the part about building a team. You know, each team member has its own tasks, and everybody trusts each other that the other one is going to do what he's supposed to do. And that's the thing. That's the trust that we build, you know, in our band. And I think it's something that is really often overlooked into bands, because people, you know, think that, okay, well, we're all musicians, we can all do this, and sometimes, you know, someone wants to do something in a certain way, and the others don't want to do it that way, and then you start having frictions, and that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
You know, you need to understand that everyone has a role in the band, and if, you know, two people want to do something, well, communication is key here. So talk about it. Don't be a bitch about it. Just talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said earlier, it's like a relationship.
And like you said, and sometimes it makes it more difficult if two people are doing the same thing. At one point, if they don't communicate enough, then things can just end up being screwed up, right?
Exactly. I
so
mean,
what's the point? It's better to just define, you know, like pretty much like a business associate thing.
Exactly.
You trust who's in charge of that, and you don't have to be there and be the boss and say, well, did you do that way?
No.
And no, leave people do what they have to do.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's all about building trust and having that chemistry, and just, you know, being able to work on what's important and not worrying about what's not. And that way, and when we see each other at practice, you know, we just, okay, guys, so here's this for social media. We got this. And the other guy's like, okay, well, this for the merch that we sold, we got this. And okay, guys, I may have a show on this date. Are you guys available? So, you know, it's all part of the work. I mean, everybody's putting into it. And that's really, really important as a band if you want to succeed. If you only have one person in charge of everything, it's not going to work out, because when you move forward, you know, into this music adventure, it's really, really demanding to take care of everything. So you need help. You need to work together. Yeah. And so unfortunately, it's something that's really overlooked, and I think it's one of the most important things when you want to form a band.
Definitely, I agree on this totally. Another question I have, Steve, about yourself as a musician. Because we were talking about, you know, the first moments and when you wanted to start your own band. Were there a musician or band that really, like, gave you that idea, or, you know, when you listen to them, or when, I don't know if you watch them live or if you watch the videos or whatever, but one particular influence that, you know, decided you to say, well, I want to be a musician?
Well,
who is it?
To be a musician, I have to say that Stevie Ray Vaughan was one of my biggest influences. Okay. I just love the feeling, you know, the emotion into his playing. Everything he did, you know, had a meaning. He could actually tell you a story with his guitar, and that's something I found really, really amazing. And afterwards, when I was more into like the metal and progressive metal thing, that's where I met Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, and when I was more into the metal scene, I started to listen a lot Ozzy Osbourne, and Zakk Wylde and stuff like that. So I really, it's really, the musicians that were able to project the emotion throughout their playing that I really loved, and that's what made me, want to become a guitarist. At first, I never wanted to become a singer. It's something that just happened.
Yeah.
But a guitarist, I always wanted to be a guitarist because it was just phenomenal. I mean, when I was a kid, I saw Eddie Van Halen, ripping a solo, and I was like, how the hell does he do that? That was just amazing. And it was mind blowing, and I was so impressed by it that I just wanted to do it. And I think that and the artists that really influenced me as a musician were Stevie Ray Vaughan, Steve Vai a lot, and So in my teenager years, Zakk Wylde. Yeah, Zakk Wylde had a huge influence on me. I think his showmanship was mainly the reason why he influenced me, because his playing wasn't as phenomenal. He's an awesome guitarist, don't get me wrong here, but it wasn't as phenomenal, as Steve Vai. But I think that the way he plays his showmanship and everything he does on stage is just absolutely crazy. He's just a monster on stage, and I saw him live as well. And I mean, he's just really cool to watch, and at least for me. So I think that those were the main guitarists that influenced me to be a guitarist. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So now I have questions from just to get a little feel of your influence. So you have to pick one out of the two, right?
Okay. Do I have to describe why, or just?
Yeah. You can explain why. You can
Okay.
give us your reasons. So if I say Kiss or Alice Cooper.
In terms of music, I'd say Alice Cooper, but in terms of show, the show in general, I'd say Kiss. I saw Kiss live, and I have to say they give a phenomenal show. But in terms of music, Alice Cooper, most definitely.
Okay, perfect. Now, Deep Purple or Led Zeppelin?
Oh, definitely Deep Purple. I can't stand Robert Plant. I'm just not. He's not my favorite singer. But Deep Purple was a band that I really listened to when I was a teenager. The first song I learned was not actually "Smoke on the Water." It was actually "Highway Star," which is a lot harder to play. Yeah. And "Highway Star" was really my favorite song from Deep Purple. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
AC/DC with Bon Scott or with Brian Johnson?
Bon Scott. I mean, Brian Johnson, I think that the AC/DC with Brian Johnson really got them to where they wanted to be in terms of, commercial-wise, I think. But I think that Bon Scott was really the raw energy behind, the early AC/DC vibe, the
real thing.
The real thing, the real image of rock and roll, the filth.
Yeah.
The raw filth of Bon Scott was just, I think it was the real image of AC/DC.
Okay. Ministry or Rammstein?
I'm going to go with Rammstein on this one. I think they revolutioned the way that you can perform shows. I mean, they did so much, for the live scene. The step is so high, for people that want to compete with this kind of monster of a band. But it's absolutely amazing to watch. I mean, it must cost a freaking fortune to build these shows. But I mean, I never heard anyone go to a Rammstein show and say that they didn't enjoy their experience.
Yeah. They didn't
Never,
like it.
never. So I'm going with Rammstein on this one.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Next one, I already know the answer, but you can give us more background on that. Dio or Ozzy?
I think that in terms of vocal quality, it's definitely Dio. But I think Ozzy Osbourne has a certain... he has an image, you know. It's not only Ozzy; it's all the image that comes with it, and you know, everything that happened was for a reason. I mean, he's Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, there's nothing he didn't do, and I mean, even if he sang like crap on stage. The show, the musicians that he hired were all amazing, and it was always a good show anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, Ronnie James Dio is a freaking amazing vocalist, and it's unfortunate that we can't hear him. Well, we can, you know, with a 3D hologram now, but I mean, it's not the same thing. But hey, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go with Ozzy. He had a huge influence on me as a teenager, and I still listen to a lot of his songs.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Marilyn Manson or Rob Zombie?
Definitely Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie for me is one of my favorite horror directors. So it's not a popular opinion, but I really love what he does as a horror director, and I think he does a lot of that into his music and his visual effects and on the live scene as well. I saw Rob Zombie live, and I have to say that I was really, really impressed with his live setup. I wasn't expecting that at all. And when I saw, you know, the freaking living dead girl cheerleaders on stage with these huge, like, Iron Maiden-like moving sculptures and stuff like that, I was, wow, man, I wasn't expecting that at all. And so, yeah, Rob Zombie for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses or Def Leppard?
Okay, in terms of music, I'd say Guns N' Roses. I think they're more like the hard rock genre that I like. But Def Leppard really had an impact on me as well. Actually, Love Bites was the song that we played when I got married. So, yeah. So
All right. Metallica or Megadeth?
Okay. Metallica had a huge part of my musical development. But nowadays, I think I really like Megadeth more than Metallica. Metallica just went on one way at some point, and I just think that they weren't relevant enough for me to continue listening. And but I really dig, you know, the old albums, and I'm still listening to them today, and I really like them. I love them. I saw them live, freaking amazing show. But I think, you know, musically, Megadeth is higher on my list.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So now we'll move on Canadian stuff, right? So just to finish. So Rush or Dream Theater?
Dream Theater for me. John Petrucci and Mike Portnoy were huge influences for me as well in my 20s. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, it's Dream Theater all the way. I saw them live. I saw, actually, the first time I saw John Petrucci was when I saw G3 in Montreal. And I was fortunate enough we were fortunate enough to have Mike Portnoy play his drums, you know, in his G3 set. So it was just freaking amazing. And afterwards, I think it was 2 years ago, I saw them live with now it wasn't more with Portnoy, it was with Mangini, who was a freaking animal as well. Yeah. And I really, really enjoyed that show. Really, I mean, Dream Theater for me is way higher on my list than the Rush.
Okay. Exciter or Anvil?
I'd have to say Anvil. I think there's this hard rock, you know, 80s hard rock vibe that they're able to put into their thrash genre. I don't know how to do it. I mean, it's just the way they write, and I just love it. I mean, Anvil is a really cool band, and Smiles is just a freaking awesome guy. I mean, he's just super down to earth, and he's a cool. I think he's from he's from Ontario, but
Yeah, they're from Toronto.
Toronto, I guess. Yeah. So I saw this.
Did you see the documentary?
Yeah.
That was so cool.
I love the documentary, and I learned a lot about this band. With the documentary, I knew the songs, but you learn all the behind the scenes stuff that you don't know, and it's okay, man.
It's eye opening.
Yeah, they had a hard time.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Anvil for me.
All right, and last but not least, Annihilator or Voivod?
I'm gonna go with Annihilator because actually I discovered in a way Annihilator not too long ago, and it was my son who really got me into Annihilator. He was into them before me. Go figure. And so I was hearing him practice, and I was like, "What's that song you're playing? It's really good." "Oh, it's Alice in Hell." "Well, that's a cool song name. Who's that?" He's like, "Well, it's Annihilator, Dad. How the fuck you don't know that?" No, I know them.
I heard about them.
Yeah, no, I know them. But afterwards, I was like, "Oh, I heard that song. Oh yeah, I remember that song." But I just didn't know that it was Annihilator, and I really got hooked, with their music. And Jeff Water is an amazing guitarist. Oh yeah. I mean, he's just a phenomenal player and a really cool guy. And yep, Annihilator for me.
Okay, well that's it. End of it.
So
you passed.
End of the Q&A.
Yep. End of the Q&A.
All right.
Next time it's going to be me on the grill.
That's it. All right, so Arnold, you wanted to present us a vinyl that you really enjoyed.
Yeah, so Vinyl Revisited, that's another subject, another part that we want to include in our podcast. So we will present each time, a vinyl that marked our was an influence or was important, and I think it's important as well for so many people.
Yep.
So basically my first choice, so the album that I picked was Accept, the German band, Balls to the Walls. This is the original European edition, vintage.
Nice.
That I bought when I was 14. So it's it was released in 1983. So
okay.
It's pretty old.
It had a few spins.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So it's really to me, I think it's it's a pillar for the anybody that want to get to know heavy metal and metal in general. I think this is an album that has to be listened to, and if you can possess it, that's even better. So so it's the original cover with a nice. So the lyrics sheet.
All right.
And the poster.
Oh wow. Oh, that's okay.
German dudes with not many hairs.
Okay.
So so they were pretty young at that time, as you can tell from the picture. So basically, I mean, just the title album, Balls to the Walls. This is a heavy metal anthem. I mean,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you're a big Accept fan, Steve, but for me, I mean, this was like, when I started with this album, I don't think I didn't know. I knew some of the songs from the previous albums, but that's when I started listening to Accept.
Okay.
And this was like, this is something that I dig totally, and from 1983, just to give you a little background, I mean, it's the same year that Metallica released not Fuck Them All, but
Kill Them All.
Kill Them All.
Fuck them all.
I had a blank. Sorry. All right,
Fuck them all,
same
and
year.
then you show the picture.
So basically, I mean, this is a starting point of the thrash era, but this was like really strong for what you could say, like, you know, like heavy metal, Judas Priest style of thing. And this is German, so it's very different approach. A lot of songs I can hear some Scorpions influence there.
Okay,
so it's definitely. But they also started, you know, bringing some like more double kick as well. So you know, you could tell that the heavy metal was you know, evolving into some faster stuff as well. And I'm sure they've played a lot faster stuff after that as well. So really cool songs on that. For me, I mean, Balls to the Walls #1. I mean, especially, you know, with the backing vocals, the melody, very underrated guitarist, Wolf Hoffman.
What's the singer's name? Ludo?
Yeah, Udo Dirk Schneider.
Yeah.
So he was the first singer, and now they have a different one. But he was the original singer.
Yeah, I think Udo went on his
now he's got his
solo
own
career.
band. Udo, and he's still playing Balls to the Walls. Every show is playing. I mean, this is part of, you know, it's. If they don't play that, they have a riot in the place, right? But I mean, it's a great song. I don't know, you know, what you think of it, but to me, it's definitely. I mean, just the ideas, the melody of the backing vocals, you know, just that was like, yeah, that's so cool. I mean, the way they invented those backups, like really low voice backups as well. That's something very different, very new in the style. I mean, and like again, I mean, some stuff like Fight It Back is another great song, fast double kick.
Okay.
The other one I really dig is Guardian of the Night. So it's basically 10 songs. Some songs are a little bit hard rock, and you can tell from, you know, their influence, like I said, a little bit of the Scorpions there. Okay. But I think it's definitely an album that started putting them on the international level. Okay. And I think now, I mean, everybody is just giving Accept as a legend, as a, you know, one of the bands, especially in Europe. You know, I mean, you were mentioning Rammstein, and I think, you know, you have a lot of that German, the German marching rhythm and riffs that you know, that's very heavy. They have that knack, you know, for like heavy metal. So I like German metal for sure. And,
me too.
And I think this is definitely sound wise. I mean, the sound is really nice for a production of that time. I mean, the drums, I listened to it today, and there's one song you can hear like electronic drums.
Oh, really?
Like toms,
Okay.
So it was like, I never realized that this album had some electronic toms on it.
Okay.
So, but they were trying to just, work the sound in a way, not in a new way, but they were definitely trying to get that heavy edge to it.
Okay.
And the you know, the writing of the songs are just great. I mean, Balls to the Walls for me is just anytime you want to party, you put that song and, you know, just drink a few beers and, you know, you're in the mood, man.
And
you know.
end up like the picture in the vinyl fold.
Yeah, butt naked. Yeah. So basically, so that's it. So for me, it's
there you have it.
It's the you know, even have the price there.
Oh wow! Okay,
79 francs it cost back then, and so definitely. I mean, if you can find it, I don't know if you can reorder it. I don't know if they have re-released.
Well, maybe you can find it on eBay from previous collectors or stuff like that.
But so.
Yeah, all right.
This is an example of what I have in my vinyl collection.
Awesome.
Steve.
Well, there you have it. Accept, Balls to the Wall.
Yes.
Check it out.
All right, Steve. So now it's time for the featured band.
Yes, sir.
Of our episode 2 of our Welcome to Our Apocalypse with nice little lights that I've put on the banner.
We had a lot of budget, from our last episode.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's right. Hollywood is stepping in.
yep, it's a huge step up. So yeah.
So the featured band is Lycanthro from Ottawa, and I'm sure you can tell us more about it, Steve.
Yeah, Lycanthro from Ottawa, Canada. They've been actually referred to us from once again John Asher from Asher Media Relations. So thank you so much for working with us, John. It's really a pleasure. And so yeah, I mean, Lycanthro is a power metal band. And the singer's name is James Delbridge. If you guys maybe you guys have seen him on his podcast. His podcast is Wolfpack Lycanthro. So I've been on his podcast before. Super cool guy, very talented guy. He's a great guitarist, great singer, and his band is really amazing. So he he just released a new album, and I wanted to talk about his new song Evangelion. So the way I'm pronouncing it is actually from the way he's pronouncing it is in his video. I thought it was Evangelion, but
No,
it was Evangelion. And
is it like the name of a girl or?
No, actually, I was intrigued, and I did a research on that, and it's actually a mythical creature, it's like a giant human, that was created to maybe to annihilate or whatever, but it's really a mythical creature. So I'm guessing the song was based on that,
Okay.
and hopefully I'm right. But so musically and for the video, actually the actual video. So I watched the video, and I have to say that although I would have loved to have a production, quite a production on this video, because I think there's a lot you can do with this type of song, especially in power metal. I was kind of hoping to see a little more in terms of visuals, because I think Lycanthro already had videos before with Dark Moon Productions, and they were great, and I was expecting to see something like that. But the thing is with that is that they released this song during the pandemic, and Lycanthro had to reconfigure the band because they had, I think, 2 band members that were changed, within this time. So it's kind of understandable that they couldn't, have this huge production for this video. So, that's okay. I think James still did an amazing job, producing this video. And what I really enjoyed about this video and the song actually was the vocal quality of James. I think that James' vocals have really stepped up a notch, and he's really into. I think he's really into the power metal game. He's up there with all the greats into this genre, and I think you did an amazing job, James, with your vocals on that song, especially on the high notes. I mean, wow, that's really high. I mean, I'm sure you pinched yourself somewhere where I will not mention to hit that note, because it's impossible for me to do that. But it was really, really a high note, and I was like, "Holy shit! Okay, this guy can sing really high." And but yeah, I mean, the song in terms of music, I mean, it's a super great, groovy power metal song. It's not like a super fast-paced song, but it's always this really good feeling groove that always going on, and with the vocals, with James's vocals on this song, I think you're not going to be disappointed to listen to that song, Evangelion. And so if you guys want to have a look at the video, it's into our episode 2 description, and I will have a link that will appear at the end of the podcast. So thank you so much, Lycanthro, for creating this beautiful music, and I wish you guys all the success you deserve.
Yeah, I met James when we played in Ottawa and Mavericks, and he's a real cool guy, really easygoing, and I was amazed. I mean, the vocals in this
Yeah.
And this video is phenomenal for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he really stepped up in this one, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, just the entire album is really, really good. And but I just wanted to talk about Evangelion. But I mean, yeah, James really sang his guts out on this one. Really, definitely, good job, man.
Good job, man.
So check it out, Lycantro.
All right, so this is the end point of episode number 2.
Absolutely.
We're still alive.
We're still alive. Still breathing.
We're gonna stick around. You're gonna see us for more.
Hopefully. So yeah, I mean, thanks a lot for watching episode 2. We had a blast as usual, and so stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook account. We're on Instagram and Twitter. So if you can follow us, you'll be updated on everything that's coming up in our episodes. So thank you so much once again for joining us, and we're talking to you later.
Yeah, thanks again. See you next time.